Jiu-Jitsu athletes make a ton of mistakes when it comes to the stand-up, which is to be expected as most of our time training is spent already on the mat. But these mistakes can cost you. While filming for our Wrestling for Jiu-Jitsu instructional, I asked former D1 wrestler Breza what are the 5 most common mistakes that Jiu-Jitsu athletes make in their stand-up, and we compiled a list for you to help you improve. My own wrestling has already improved substantially from working with Joe. We spent a week together filming it, and it felt like taking day-long private lessons with him, and since then, I've been teaching my students everything I've learned from him, and already they're having so much more success hitting takedowns. So let's get started.
Let's start with the most basic thing, which is stance. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes have adopted more of an upright stance. It looks a lot like Greco-Roman. And while this helps make it difficult for me to get to a front headlock or a choke, it has the downside that he's leaving his legs wide open. So in Greco-Roman wrestling, you don't have to worry about your legs. And so I can't attack him, so he doesn't have to worry about it. But in Jiu-Jitsu, he is going to have to worry about his legs because all bets are off. So one of the things that I usually do to attack somebody who's in this straight upright position is just a straight stiff arm, because if his shoulders get out of alignment with his hip here, it's just very easy for me to just snatch a single. And you'd think that this might be too easy to do, but even if he's just standing there and he's in a good, strong stance, if I just stiff arm him, I can take that real easy. The other thing I can do is they have their hands out a lot like this, and people just accept the grips, and you can't just do this, because if I give him my hands, I'm never getting them back, and then now I got to spend all this time trying to get my hands out of there. So if he's holding his hands up right like that, sometimes I'll just come and post right up underneath one, and same thing, I'll just run him out of position and snatch the single leg. And this is all because he's so upright that it's just very easy to get him out of posture. And then now he only has ab control to bring him back. And now he's got all his weight on his back leg, and his leg is really, really light. So to correct that, we're going to go to a wrestling stance, but not super low, because I don't want to just give him my neck like too easily. So I'm going to rest my hands here on my knees and keep my back real nice and straight, which is going to make it difficult for him to get a choke on me, because he'd have to come way up high. And even if he, is trying to get under, he's giving me access to his body by coming up and out of his stance. So I prefer to put my hands here on my knees and then put my hands out in front like this with my elbows in. And now this is a really frustrating stance for him to break. I can lead a leg forward. I personally do, but I usually teach people at first to square stance so that they can get used to this posture of their back being straight and their arms being out like this in front, but their elbows in. Not like this, because he can just shoot a double on me and I can't block it. But here, what this allows for is now my defense for the basic rules of wrestling still apply. If he were to try to shoot on me, I can drop my head low and get it in the way. If he were to level change well and get past that, my hands are in the way. If I'm standing upright, he's already past my head. So I don't have that as a defensive option. So that's a really crucial thing, is having a good stance where our weight is on the balls of our feet, so we're very athletic still, and our hands are in and out front, because now he can't just shoot from far away. That's the next thing that I see people do wrong all the time in jiu-jitsu, is they get frustrated. They don't know how to get past the hands yet. They will. It's coming with better technique, learning how to get past the hands, which is crucial. And they just take a shot. If he just takes a shot from out here, he'll never get to, I don't even have to sprawl. Not even close, because my hands are out front. And even if he gets past my head, my hands are out front. If he's not understanding the rules of the game and how to get past my hands, then it's never going to happen.
This video is sponsored by X Marshall. X Marshall was kind enough to hook us up with these slick Wrestling for Jiu-Jitsu rash guards. And if you want some slick X Marshall gear too, X Marshall is giving away a $100 gift card. You can pick out anything you'd like on their website. All you have to do is leave a comment on this video, and the winner will be randomly selected and announced next week in my newsletter. So just leave a comment and sign up for my newsletter if you haven't already, and you could have $100 worth of X Marshall gear headed your way.
The third thing that I think people do in jiu-jitsu that needs to be corrected is they get it on a nice single leg like this, and then they stand and they get frustrated. And because they're not using classic wrestling to take people down, like running the pipe bringing the leg up high to finish, right? So running the pipe or bringing the leg up high, they get frustrated and they try to transition to the body lock. Now, if he just gets a wrist grab here, I'm not getting the body lock. When I go to transition, it's not happening, okay? The other thing that's bad is that if I do come up here, I come up and out of my stance. Most people do this. They start trying to walk around the back, and I'm just going to get uchi-matted from here, right? And so now I'm in a super compromised position, and my feelings just got hurt, my ego. So not only is it difficult to transition to the body lock, it's also very risky for that reason. And even if people think, well, I'll just go behind him. Well, so if I get the body lock and I try to go behind him, I'm going to get Makikomi'd from here, right? And same problem. So why is that? It's because I'm giving him inside position with his thigh here. When his leg is on the ground here, he has only one post. When I let go of it and he's got his leg on the inside, not only does he have two posts, he has the most powerful part of his body, and he's got this whizzer overhook here, and it's a very powerful position. So even though I'm around his waist and I feel powerful, if I don't suplex him, which I don't, most styles you can't do this in jiu-jitsu, like or tournaments, only like probably ADCC is the only option. I can't mat return him in a traditional sense because he's got the whizzer. So I can't just lift him and mat return him because we're gonna be in the dogfight when we hit the mat. So avoid coming up to the body lock, finish the single leg the traditional way. So if I am going to transition from a single leg to a side body lock ish position, I don't want to have his leg on the inside because he's got all this powerful position. So if he's pulling his leg back really hard and it's like sprawling this leg back like this, I want to step in the middle, because now I can go either to the underhook or I can run him over far knee tap, or I can go to the body lock transition here. And notice the difference is because he's going to be trying to get this leg to the mat and sprawling back, right? I step inside because now he can't uchi-mata me. It's impossible, right? Because I'm blocking it. He can't headlock me either. The fourth thing that I see people do wrong is they've got the right idea of getting an underhook because this is a very powerful position, but they're digging for that underhook and their head is way far away and it allows him to get head position. And I don't like this because now at any point, if I push him, I'm going to go for a ride. He's going to be able to fireman's carry me if I push him. So, and that works at Division I level. We've seen heavyweight championships recently where people are doing that and winning. So if I get the underhook, I usually do it by grabbing a cross wrist and digging in here to get this underhook. I block this inside thigh position and put my head here. And even if I lose the thigh position because he backs up or whatever, like I can drop to a single, right? But I don't lose the head position because he can't shoot on me, right? But if my head's way over here, then, not only is nothing going to happen, I'm in a lot of trouble. He can clamp down on this and hurt me, right? But if my head is here when he tries to clamp down, then I can come up and reinforce this and pull his head down. But when I'm over here, I don't have that option because his head's in here. Another thing that I see people do wrong, which is a classic mistake. You see it with anybody who's new to wrestling. So, people in the United States that are learning high school wrestling, they all reach with the same arm, same leg. Well, if he does that, if he reaches with the same arm, same leg, and that doesn't matter what stance he's in, if he's in a jiu-jitsu like Greco-like stance, or if he's in a good stance, if he reaches with the same arm, same leg, there's nothing stopping him from me getting in after I get behind his elbow. Not here at the wrist. If I post at the wrist, he can just drop his elbow and I can't shoot on him. But if from here, all I have to do is post at the elbow and I have direct access to here. So to do that, I use the opposite leg forward that I'm leading because I'm going to reach and do what's called a knee pull single, and put my head right in the center of his chest and come up with the shot. And so as he's doing it, basically to reach for the collar tie, I just snatch it. I don't have to go to my knees or anything. That can all be prevented if he reaches with the opposite. Now I can't do that. If I post here, it's really far away. I mean, I could try, but it's a lot more risky for me because I'm going to be too far away from the shot that I might end up in the guillotine again.
Just working with Joe on this course, I've learned so much, and I'm going to watch the course myself to really ingrain it into my own head. So go to wrestlingforbjj.com to check it out. And thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you're still here, please leave a comment or a fist bump, and we'll see you guys next time.